We're back. We are back. It has been a couple months. The NFL season
No.
ended. Yeah. I mean, dude, it's
It's been
April.
like 2 weeks.
It is April. It's April 3rd. We took a little hiatus. We said we would record during the off season. We didn't lie.
Well,
but
okay. Is it the off season right now? Yes or no?
it is the off season.
Are we recording right now? Yes or no?
We are recording.
Thank you very much.
We took probably a little bit longer of a break than either of us anticipated. A lot has happened, and we will get to that. But this episode is going to be a little bit different. Graham and I have been working on something very fun that we're very excited to share with you. This is like the most excited I've been about an episode since we started recording. I think, obviously, like the Bears Packers win, those were fun, but this is. We're sort of taking things into a different direction that I think could be like very fun and fun for you guys, and like even more fun for Graham and I who are behind it. Do we want to I feel bad for the viewer because I mean our following is like mostly friends and family,
we gotta go over like a couple touch points, I guess, of Bears shit, but
of the Bears. Okay. Yeah.
Drew Dalman retired.
Yes, Drew Dalman retired. That was ridiculous.
That sucks.
Out of left field, it sucks very bad. They addressed it with the guy from New England, who I think will be fine to fill a hole. I guess like timeline wise, it's not the worst thing. It sort of puts you in a pickle. Like you kind of have to find a center like this year rather than like maybe next year or the year after. But yeah, that was tough. That was a shocker. DJ Moore
secondary leaves.
Yeah, basically the whole secondary. Well, just the safeties, Brisker and Byard. Wasn't really expecting that. But I love Kobe Bryant, and I think like that's a good draft to draft a safety. I think it's a pretty easy position to hit on, so I'm not like super worried. I would have liked to see Byard back. So, yeah, I mean, I kind of figured he would. Yeah. There was a chance he was leaving. A glue guy for sure, but his impact to the team isn't like that. It's very, I don't know. I feel like he's pretty replaceable. DJ Moore left. We got an absolute haul in return. Bills take that contract, and we got a second round pick. Love that move for the Bears. The future is obviously Luther Burden and Rome Odunze. So his last snap with the Bears was that interception, which is funny. Anything else? Anything too crazy? Like we signed Kobe Bryant.
What about the coaches taking the picture of the coaches?
Like at the NFL thing? Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't have too much on that. I really I didn't really go into this episode.
Between LaFleur and Johnson.
Well, the answer is actually Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel mobbed absolutely everyone.
Sure,
but yeah, no. But LaFleur was exhibiting like a ton of cock shame. He like hands right in front of his crotch. Really? Ben Johnson, spread, wide shoulders. That's my head coach. That is my
green line.
Green line test. LaFleur was like this, and Ben Johnson straight up.
Wow,
this is how it is.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I didn't really come into this episode ready to talk Bears, to be completely honest.
We just gotta, keep a somewhat document, keep a timeline.
I think we're gonna cover what we're excited to share with you, and then we'll definitely talk a little bit of college hoops because
for sure.
For the both of us, I mean, you could see behind me. It's been behind me for all 30 episodes. That Illinois poster, the Balkan 5. Now the Balkan 6 or the Balkan 5.4, whatever you want to call it, are dancing. They're in the Final Four, as is Michigan. We might make a trip down there tomorrow. That is to be determined. But yeah, we'll talk a little bit of college hoops depending on how long this segment goes.
I have one more thing.
Go for it.
This is just a little like football note. Okay, so like you're a really good head coach that's known for like making quarterbacks amazing, right? Your team every year, or at least for the first couple of years of your tenure, should draft like a random ass quarterback in the 7th round, wait a couple of years, and then give him like 15 mil a year or like 20 mil a year out of nowhere. Keep him as a backup.
So that a team like really wants to trade for him.
And then you flip him for like a 2nd round pick.
You think anyone is falling for that without the tape though?
Yeah, dude. I feel like if Ben Johnson like decided to pay Bagent like a lot of money out of nowhere, Like people would just be like, "Oh shit."
I mean,
His
yeah,
market value goes way
he
up,
like already has a decent market value from being re-signed, but he has
right?
like looked good in the time he's played. Like he hasn't.
Yes.
It's not like he hasn't
Yes.
played at all.
But you could pull that off maybe.
I don't. I mean, I really have no idea how to segue into this. Give me 1 second.
Do you have any thoughts on Jaden Ivey?
I have thought Jaquan Brisker actually tweeted, which is pretty
thoughts.
funny. He had some thoughts. He said he'd rather be persecuted for following God or something. I'd rather be persecuted by people that for following God than persecuted by God for something.
Probably following people.
Yeah, something along those lines. Jaden Ivey.
Is it fair that the NBA celebrates Pride Month, which is, I believe, 30 days? Is that correct?
Yep, but Black History Month is only 28
Black
days.
History Month is 28 days. So I'm just saying, if you look at the history of the NBA, I've long said, much like ice cream, before chocolate was introduced, it's very boring, right? If we look at the history of ice cream, nothing really going on. Chocolate's introduced. Ice cream's amazing. Same thing with the NBA. I think there is a question there. Should we change?
Like, do we need rainbow sherbet, Neapolitan ice cream? Is that what we're
Neapolitan?
saying?
Well, we do have kind of Neapolitan ice cream right now with like Jokic and stuff. He's kind of pinkish, right?
Yeah,
he has a pink hue.
More
but I think
beige.
that we should add maybe either probably in March, just the first week of March. Continue Black History Month, first week of March. Good.
I think we should just give them 2 days worth of voicing their opinions. Jaden Ivey took up like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So they still got 46 hours of speaking their mind. And that's how you make up for the 2 days that they don't get back.
That's fair.
And obviously, and then every 4 years, they only get 1 day.
Ooh, that's a great point. That factors in a lot.
It's philosophical stuff.
Yeah, that really is.
Wow. No, I don't. I don't have too many. I was a big believer in Jaden Ivey coming out of college. I thought he was going to be.
He's a big believer.
He's got more faith than a lot of people.
It's true.
But yeah, it's just like, of course, it happens to the Bulls. It's like maybe the most Bulls thing to happen in the last 5 years, and that's after 4 years of just being the 10 seed or the 9 seed and playing in the whatever the
Miami Heat Invitational
tournament. Yeah. But I don't know. I hope he gets help. I've seen some stuff that he's had some other issues outside of like
what he was doing on
Instagram Live. And
diagnosed, who knows? But yeah.
Well, we
I loved him in college. Good guy.
He was awesome in college. I thought he was gonna be he was like the 5th overall pick. He was
not as nice as Carson Edwards though.
I don't know. Is that a Michigan guy?
Oh, what?
Ran point at the same time.
No, point guard for Purdue, bro. What?
Oh, okay, sorry.
Carson Edwards, bro. No, you're good. You're good. You get the pass.
I don't know. I was not a college hoops guy until I started going to Illinois, and even then, I wasn't really like following the entire landscape.
That's fair.
Up until this year, and I feel like I could say confidently I know ball now in the college hoop sphere.
We'll watch some Carson Edwards highlights. Maybe biggest non-Michigan heartbreak I've ever had in the NCAA tournament, and I really usually don't like Purdue, but lost in heartbreaking fashion, and I really wanted to see him keep going. Craziest March Madness run I've ever seen.
Fairleigh Dickinson? You talking that game or
no? It was a different one. It was in the Elite Eight against Virginia, who ended up winning. It was the year after Virginia lost the 16 seed, and like Purdue just like got unlucky. Like a tall guy on Virginia who like worst shooter of all time hit like a 19-foot one-handed push shot at the buzzer to tie it and go to overtime, and then Purdue lost in overtime. So they had a chance, but yeah, tough. Off a missed free throw too. Missed free throw by Virginia, down 2 points with like 4 or 5 seconds left. Ball goes into the backcourt because it gets tipped. Dude catches it like 1 or 2 dribbles, throws it to the dude, and he just throws like a hooking like push shot. Swishes it. Cold.
That's tough.
Piss me off.
We'll talk some more college hoops in a bit. But first, this will be for the listener. We're not sure how the experience will be for you because we're not sure how it's going to be for us.
True.
But we're gonna it'll get better throughout the episodes. But this will be sort of like the roughest draft of what we're going to be doing. But Graham and I, over the last week or so, 2 weeks, started coming up with the FUFL, which is the 4 United Football Leagues. It is an entirely made up league. It's just whatever history, whatever plays, whatever people, whatever teams come to mind. We just write them down, make them, put them in a league. And the plan is that we will, each week add more lore to the league and share it with you here. We have 100 years of FUFL history to fill in between the two of us and whoever else pitches their ideas. So this will be just sort of an ongoing thing that we'll do from now on. So like obviously throughout the offseason, it'll be a bit more FUFL heavy. Once the Bears come back, we'll obviously continue to talk about them. But I figured this would be a good way to fill time during the offseason. And it's been a lot of fun so far. So yeah, I don't really know how to go about.
Why don't you just introduce us to this league, Michael?
Yeah. So it's the FUFL. It stands for the 4 United Football Leagues. So the FUFL was founded in 1899, and originally there were 4 teams, which later, I believe in 1903 or 1906, expanded to 8 teams. 1906, expanded to 8 teams, and then to 16 teams in 1916.
13, but yeah.
1913. Sorry, it's again, a lot of information, hard to remember. But yeah, so it expanded to 16 teams in 13, and then slowly grew up until 1929 when the league split into 4 different leagues. So you had the Midwestern Division, which includes 3 of the 4 founding teams of the FUFL. Midwestern Division is known as the One True Football League. Nice. You've got the Southern Division, which includes the Kankakee Pilots, who were the team of the first 4 who sort of initiated the split.
Do they really know exactly why? They don't know exactly why, right?
There are theories, but the owner of the Kankakee Pilots wasn't all too excited about the idea of letting certain people play the game.
Oh, that's horrible.
And they decided they wanted to play football on their terms.
That's horrible.
They stepped away from the FUFL and started the GAFL, which is the Great American Football League. Sort of the more southern division of teams. The Western Division became the IFL, which was the International Football League. So they started just with the western parts of the United States and realized that there are opportunities for growth. The geography is so widespread in the West, and in the 20s, it was, there weren't so many options to choose from, and they realized that we were going to get dominated by the Great American Football League and eventually the One True Football League if we don't go international. So they went overseas and started making teams there. And then you've got the Eastern Division, which is Brigham's official football association, founded by the one and only Percival Enos Brigham, P for short. Percival. So that's the BOFA or the BOFA. Brigham's official football association is our Eastern expansion. Do you want to maybe we'll run through some of the teams?
Yeah,
start there, and then we can get into the lore of some of the people.
Yeah, I mean, every team kind of like, it's a little bit of like almost a Harry Potter vibe. Like, you got your team, and then there's like the old person that like kind of founded it, and they're kind of like folklore heroes. But the team that kind of founded it all, and the mind that really decided that football could expand beyond what it currently was in America. Was is it Johnny Arroyos? Am I saying that correctly?
So it's Johnny Aredo Sr., who
Arroyos
is,
Senior, right?
of course, the
Um,
father of Johnny Aredos Jr., who is, of
who?
course, the founder
Oh,
of Johnny's Beef.
okay. Got you. Right. And so he, entrepreneurism running in the family, decided to found a football team. He was right here in Arlington Heights. Not that we're in Arlington Heights, just said right here for fun. And
We could be anywhere.
he founded a team that it originally didn't really have a name. They kind of floated many things around, but given that the year started, or given, that the team started in the year 1899, they kind of colloquially
Colloquially,
I don't know.
It's good enough.
There's
Yeah,
the last syllable there. I never get right if I'm being.
I think it's colloquially.
Oh, colloquial. Yeah, I can't do it. We'll figure it out later.
We'll use something else.
But you know what I mean, right? They became known as the 99ers. So they're the Arlington Heights 99ers.
Yes.
Their
The
guy was
founding
like,
team of the FUFL.
yeah, their guy was your boy Johnny.
Yeah.
The Sheboygan Bearers. You know nothing about the Sheboygan Bearers, don't you?
So Sheboygan, Wisconsin, commonly known as the surfing city of the Midwest. They have the best surfing in the Midwest.
I mean, that's not really even contested. Some would say that the dunes on a really windy day can get pretty crazy, but
but
if you're talking year-round waves,
no, it doesn't match the consistency of Sheboygan. So yeah, of course they're the Barrelers. Are they the Brown Wave? Is that their team? I don't have it. I might have to pull up our sheet we got. You'll have to tell me about the fight, but yes, so their mascot is the Brown Wave.
Oh, nice.
So their fans actually invented the wave that you see at games.
Right.
A diseased rat ran across the grandstands, causing everyone to jump out of their seat in an order that resembles what we now know as the wave. The fans on the other side of the grandstand saw that, didn't know what was going on, but were like, "Oh, obviously, they're sending a little message," and they repeated, and thus the wave was born.
Learn something new every day. I always thought it was John Wave that invented it, but
no, that's common misconception.
Yeah,
Do you want to tell us? I mean, we can get. I haven't read about the owner of the Sheboygan Barrelers. I've only seen his name, and I'm really excited about him. But I don't know if you want to save it for when we get more to the people, or you can just go right into it.
I need to refresh my memory on this guy.
Mr. AA.
Oh yeah. Okay.
You want to tell me about the owner of the Sheboygan Barrelers?
Yeah, wait, let me find him. Yeah,
one of the founding forefathers of the FUFL.
Yeah, so he's one of the four founding fathers. Say that fast.
The four forefathers.
FUFL. And much like there's kind of great families of football in other leagues that you might know around America, there are great families of the FUFL, and arguably the premier family, at least in terms of respect and longevity, and
the McCaskies, the Crafts,
and the Artichoke family would be up there. I would consider them at least.
100%.
And so yeah, Archibald or Archie Artichoke Sr., he was a guy that's just always been there. I mean, since the league started, he was there. He was he's an O lineman in his day. He played for several years at the beginning of the league, but always kind of had like a senior role on the team. He was kind of the acting head coach as a player. He also was very cunning, he was a good businessman. They didn't operate on a huge payroll, but they were able to convince players to kind of buy into their culture, and they had good facilities for the most part. And yeah, he was just an amazing guy. Did really everything for the Barrelers, who have traditionally not had a ton of local support. They're kind of famous in pockets of America at the beginning of the league where people get wind of them and really fall in love with their spirit. But yeah, I mean, he's a good dude. Let's just put it that way. And he was looking to kind of, I guess if we're getting more modern times, we could skip a little bit of his lore. Because the big talk today, there's big things happening with the Barrelers, right? So he's had many kids. He's very old at this point. I mean, at least at this point of his life. And he's had, I believe, 17 kids. He's
what is the age discrepancy between the first and the 17th kid?
Yeah, so he's around 77 at this time. First kid popped out when he was 24 years old. He was when he was 24.
Fertile.
And he's 77 now. He had his most recent kid when he was 76. He's kind of giving it one last try. He hasn't totally found the next Archibald to take the reins, you know.
Yeah.
He has happened to have 17 daughters. That is also, you know, should be mentioned. It should be mentioned. Many of them show promise, but he, you know, he knows football. He hasn't really been convinced, let's say, right? So he's still trying at 77 years old. Give him credit. And he does actually impregnate his wife for an 18th time with twins.
Oh,
2 boys.
Oh, this is a disaster.
2 boys, right? Pretty crazy.
What are their?
I think it's a disaster, but it's actually a miracle because the 2 boys who we have Winston, he went by Winnie, Artichoke, and then Archibald Jr., who went by Archie.
Okay.
So they, you know, born in 1954, right?
Yeah.
Let's just say, you know, medicine wasn't as good back then. They're a miracle because they were born with Down syndrome, both of them.
Oh.
And, you know, life expectancy wise, in terms of care for a family that already has 17 children, that is not an easy situation to be born into, right? But anyway, they kind of went on to, you know, really fall in love with the game, study the game. And by the age of around 20, it became very clear that they were going to take over the franchise as a tandem. They're, you know, they work well together. They're smart guys. They're sharp dudes. They know what they like, and they, you know, they know they're very good at assessing talent. They just pick up on people's vibes. If they can vibe with people and they like people, they bring them in, they give them a chance. And you know, you have one of the founding franchise of the NFL. There's a lot of talent in that organization. They kind of, you know, they run the shit for sure, but
they run a tight ship.
It's more of a specialty. They're more special. Like, I don't know, but yeah. So anyway, sisters not super thrilled about this, but they get it. The boys know football. They're not all, and there's a couple that are into football, but to be fair, like they all kind of did come to a family agreement that this should be what they did. However, Archibald Sr. getting a little older, not as sharp, 17 sisters. They kind of pulled a sneaky move, okay? So team rights getting passed down to the boys, right? Barrelers, like I said, not a ton of local support, but we're talking about probably, at least modern times, one of the 20 biggest names in the FUFL.
Yeah, they're a hard team to root against.
Yeah,
they're just, they always have likable guys because
right. They're just the team that brings in. They do well. Their bottom line does well.
Yeah,
okay?
No, they're always like they always got one guy in the top 10 of the jersey sales each year.
They do, absolutely, yes. But anyway, so teams getting passed down, and literally like the day that it's happening, the day that Archibald Sr. is kind of inking the contract, right? The girls kind of make up a plot, right? And so the boys, they're looking to take over as owner and sort of general manager of the team, right? Those are kind of the roles looking to be taken over. They were going to put the club in the boys' name. They were going to own it, just because that's kind of the way that it's always been. The owner's been the GM. It's kind of been one title, you know?
Yeah.
They don't even have an office for the GM. It's just the owner's office, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not that many owners are in the building as much as Archibald was. We'll say that. But yeah, so the sisters kind of convinced the boys, who, remember, they have Down syndrome. But they kind of convinced the boys that GM is way better of a position than owner, right? And so the GM, they're paid handsomely, but they're splitting a salary between the two of them. And, the owner, it's we don't have official numbers, but you got to assume it's minimum 9-figure
Yeah.
worth on that team.
I
Probably.
mean, this is a professional sports team.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So the boys are making, probably around $200K a year. The girls inherit the franchise. They split it up between them, whatever. But it did come out that the way that they kind of like connived this was they told them that GM stands for grilled milkies, and that's like a grilled cheese sandwich that you dip in milk, and that was like their favorite food, still is. And so like that's just not really cool, in my opinion, for them to do that.
They just wanted the grilled milkies.
I mean, yeah, and so like, credit to the brothers. They again know what they like, and they do it. They actually at the end of the year, like you vote for different like organizational ranking stuff. Like you say like whatever. So like they score higher than almost anyone in terms of facility, in terms of nutrition, in terms of, like just taking care of their guys. It's a franchise that people, will make decisions to live in Sheboygan, Wisconsin, which is not a glorious place to live if you're not a surfer.
No, yeah. Outside of like where the stadium is and the facility, like it's a
There's just
shithole.
not much with the town.
It's an absolute shithole.
But people will stay there, and yeah, like people will go there and be happy that they're there, I guess we could say.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that's cool for them. They did recently retire, which is kind of like the big news of the league.
Oh, so they're
down.
So they're retired.
They retired, I believe, for the first time. Might be the second. I believe it was first time they've retired. Never done it before. But yeah, they did kind of. Oh, also, side note, this is slightly like people don't know everything about this, but Winnie, right? He kind of has sort of like a Dennis Rodman-esque vibe going with Iraq. So that's just kind of a side thing, but I don't know a ton about that yet.
He loves our like a big fan of the Ayatollah.
Well, yeah, Iraq doesn't have a FUFL team, and so like who are they a fan of, right?
Yeah,
and they just kind of like see eye to eye on stuff, I guess. I don't know, but yeah, he flies out there like once, twice a year, kind of gray zone thing, but I can't imagine he's liked by everybody. Like, there's not a guy that you could find that doesn't like Winnie Archibald or Artichoke. Sorry. So yeah,
happens all the time.
But they stepped down because they did figure out the local library has like basically any CD, DVD you could want, like WWE reruns, Family Feud, basically any game show you can think of. Wizards of Waverly Place, like they just have it all, and that was kind of like they didn't totally know that. They figured that out, and now they're living the life. It's still respected. People love them. They weren't born there. They moved. The original Artichoke family did move several years after the team had some success. They got some land, but the boys still lived on that farm until like modern day, until present day in Sheboygan. So local legends, good guys.
They live on the Artichoke farm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what do they grow there?
Beets. I believe.
Oh,
yeah.
Wonderful. That's the Artichoke family?
Yeah, that's the Artichoke family.
Oh, I mean, that's just awesome. That's awesome. So yeah, that's just so that's only two of the teams in the founding four.
Yeah.
We've only met two of the four forefathers.
Yeah, that's true.
We've also got of the founding four, the Danville Custard Cups, obviously based in Danville, Illinois. Their owner, their owner is
Garfield Schlarman, I believe.
Garfield Schlarman, and he made his riches from the Jarling's Custard Cup shop down there in Danville. And later,
it was a handshake deal kind of a thing. He had some cash. He had a pile of cash for the time. Custard Cup doing okay, but I mean, around the turn of the century, not many businesses were thriving. Of course, I
Yeah,
mean, I'm going
but
through
then
a little bit of
obviously
recession there.
they had a bounce back, and then they expanded to Champagne.
Right? No, they did. I mean, they ended up being uber successful, but it's just when economy's hurting, do you really go out and spend money on ice cream? Like people weren't really doing it. So he kind of floated them for a little bit. Garfield
Mm.
Schlarman did until they could kind of get back on their feet. And then in return, kind of he, was able to give him like naming rights and stuff like that. And that's what it
Mm.
kind of evolved into,
I understand. I see.
profit share, stuff like that.
Yeah, their mascot obviously is it's like a all their custard comes in a Chinese takeout box, so it's just
Yeah.
like it's just lemon custard in a Chinese takeout box. And their cheerleaders are the Darling Jarlings. The PE firm based in San Francisco, that's Garfield.
Yeah, they own it now. That's kind of like, I mean, league is definitely not thrilled with that. Just kind of the way it is though. I mean, Custard Cup still does own, I believe, around 30%. A lot of the heart and soul of the team is still there, people like to think, but
Mm.
you know, it's
Yeah,
owned
it's
by
just kind of
people in San Francisco. So
yeah, it's business.
yeah, it's business
Um,
though.
and then we've got the Casey Giants, founded in
They
Casey,
were an expansion
Illinois.
team, right? They
No,
were
no,
first
they're
expansion.
part of the first four. They're part of the first four. You can't sleep on the Casey Giants.
Are they?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry.
shoot.
No, my mistake. They are an
Oh
expansion
no,
team.
my bad,
God.
my bad.
The
Because
Kankakee
we
Pilots.
have the pilots. Yeah,
Kankakee
the pilots.
Pilots. They are part of the first four. Obviously, the league was founded all Illinois and Wisconsin teams. Very, very. I mean, it's just the heart and soul of the Midwest. The Kankakee Pilots. Um, they have a feeder team down there called the Kankakee Co-Pilots.
Nice.
Yeah, where did they're I don't have too much on. I mean, Schmigel Lunowitz is their owner.
Mm.
We don't have too much about him. He's sort of shrouded in mystery.
Yeah,
Um,
there's like a couple funny stories about him, at least.
yeah, they didn't operate with a salary cap for a long time,
That's
which
for
sort
sure.
of
Yeah.
was again part of why they wanted to, go in their own direction with the league and started the Great American Football League.
He was the only one of the founders that I believe didn't play either. He was just like coach owner. That's just, he never played.
Yeah. Where else can we go? All right, so that's just the first four. That's just the first four. And I guess I
Can I share a
teased
fun fact about Schmigel?
about Schmigel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 1907, early league, they're trying shit out. Like they tried a random rule change where they like took the top 3 vote getters in a given category and then split up the trophy by the percentage of the votes that came in. It was dumb. So like MVP, if more than one person got votes, they would split the trophy between different people. Kind of whatever. It was a 1-year rule. It got outlawed like right away because it was dumb. But anyway, there's obviously 4 teams at the time, right? There's 4 coaches. So coach of the year is between 4 folks. Well, the coach of the Custard Cup passed away like right after the season. So he wasn't on the ballot. They weren't going to give him a posthumous award. And Lunowitz got less than 1% of the vote still with the 3 coaches on the ballot. And so they like chop up the trophy and give you whatever portion you win. He got like 80% of the no's. That's the only part of the trophy he got. And yeah, that also there was a guy won, I forget his name. Whoever won Rookie of the Year that year ended up winning it the next year because as the way
we'll get there. We'll get there.
But as the way the rule was written, if you didn't make a whole award, it rounds down. So if you have like 60% of an award, let's say, it rounds down to 0. And so when he was on the ballot the next year for Rookie of the Year, that's kind of how that happened. That's another fun story.
Yeah.
We'll see. Fred Curry won MVP that year, unanimous.
Holy shit!
Or Jeff Curry. It was either Fred or Jeff Curry.
He's like one of what, like 5 unanimous MVPs, maybe. I mean,
he's the only one. Okay, so technically yes, but the way that they score it now is like it's out of 50 possible points, but there's like 3,000 voters. So people have won 50 points, but since there was a lot less voters back then, he's the only one to get every single vote for
a true, truly unanimous.
Yes.
Yeah. So some of the expansion teams among the first expansion, when it expanded to 8 teams in 1906, include the Sioux City Shovelmen, the Mackinac Island Mares, Kalamazoo Zebras, and the Casey, Illinois Giants. Casey, Illinois, if you don't know, is a small town down in central Illinois where they have a lot of just like the world's largest things. They have the world's largest rocking chair, world's largest mailbox, world's largest, I think,
maybe
like pencil. They got a bunch of stuff. Hence the name. The Giants, they play in world's largest stadium.
Is it the
I should also mention
largest stadium?
It's just world's largest stadium. At a time, it was the world's largest. So it was just the world's largest stadium.
Kind of like the
now it is.
Mall. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Now it's just the world's largest stadium. Yeah. And forgot to mention, but the 99ers, they play in Johnny's Beef Stadium, which is the grandest stadium in all the land. They host the championship game every year.
Yeah, that's pretty sick.
They sell anything you can get at Johnny's Beef, you can get at the stadium and more. But all the concessions,
for being honest, but we're not supposed to say that. I get that. I know, but I've had enough of it. Okay.
Yeah, people are starting to
not twice as expensive, but it's like
it's
considerably more.
It's stadium tax, which is kind of ridiculous because it's not that far from the actual Johnny's Beef.
Not exactly.
But yeah, it's all the concessions. But like you'd think that when you go to a concession stand, you can get multiple items there. It's separated by item, so like you just have to go to one concession for efficiency's sake. Other teams are starting to adopt it because they're realizing how good of a system it is. Yeah, I mean, by the time you're finished ordering, you have a
99ers paving the way. Wow, who would have seen that coming?
Yeah. The Mackinac Island Mares, they bus on a horse and carriage, very similarly to the Ashtabula Fighting Amish, who we'll talk about in a bit. I think I don't have too much on any of these teams in the first expansion yet. I mean, we got to do some digging. It's the 20s, so it's not that easy to find. I mean, it's not even the 20s yet. This is 1906 still, so it's hard to find information on these guys. You got anything on Richard Wadlow, brother of Robert Wadlow?
Oh, he was was he with Barnum's?
I think he's got a connection. I mean, I'd love to talk about Barnum's.
Yeah. So, do you know Robert? You know Robert Wadlow? Have you heard the name?
I think of Lob. Is their last name Loblaw? Is that right?
Who are we thinking? We're the tallest man in history of the world, of recorded world.
Oh,
I say that lightly because we all know that there was giants way back when. We all know it. But anyway, the tallest man in recorded history is Robert Wadlow from some random mass city in like Illinois or like Missouri, around the border there. I don't know. But he was like 8'11", died because he grew too fast, basically, or grew too much, pituitary gland type shit. But yeah, that's his brother. And I believe that both the brothers were in the circus, but Robert was kind of like, he was a big act, no pun intended, versus his brother kind of hung with the main circus show, I believe. That's how it broke down. So, I mean, naturally, the world's tallest man finds himself in Casey, Illinois, and is like, I'm going to start a football team. Yeah.
The second expansion in 1913 brought a lot of teams. At this point, the league was just like adding a team basically every year. Got the Roanoke Red Herrings, the Schenectady Vasectomy, the Otsego County Opossums. They're a fun one. Yeah. We got Portland. I'll let you take Portland's team. The Tyler Naughtons from Tyler, Texas. The Beverly Hollywood Hyphenates. They're a good one. Their mascot is called the Dash, who's just like a man, basically like a de facto like Silver Surfer. They would just paint him silver, but like in the 1915 they were using mercury. Like a few people died and it was discontinued. But he would race people at halftime. It was fun. The Navajo Ninjas, the Tokyo Tontos. Again, this is where we
Funny.
start to see like the
That is-
International Football League influence.
Those boys.
Those two,
Nice
they
ball.
are
Nice
rivals.
ball.
I mean, the Navajo Ninjas and the Tokyo Tontos, they
Do not like each other.
it is a grudge match every single time. Both of their mascots are just like heinous depictions of one another.
Yes. They've had more viewers than the FUFL Bowl more than once, I want to say.
Yeah. And I want to say
I can remember it at least one time. I can for sure remember that. I think it's more than once, though.
Yeah.
Which is like,
and I want to say up until like what it was like 1935, they had like the largest known police presence at like a gathering ever.
Yeah. No. Oh, yes.
It was. I mean, yeah, it was. Tempers were hot. There's a Salt Lake City Sokas, the Ohio State, or the Normal football team, previously known as the Normal People, down in Normal, Illinois. They ran into a little bit of trouble for only employing white people, and then people caught on, and they were like, "You can't be called the Normal People," so they're just the Normal football team.
Yeah, it's kind of a catch-22 situation. They're not. I mean, history-wise, fuck those guys, right? But like, we don't know if it was kind of one of those things where they didn't want to change the name, and then it was kind of looked into a little bit more, and then the voices kind of got loud for a while, and then it happened. But it didn't seem like the current ownership, while that was going down, was super hateful. I don't know.
Yeah,
not to play advocate, but that was my vibe on the situation.
We've got obviously the Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Those guys they can play some role.
They were obviously founded by the wives of some of the owners in the league at the time. They sort of wanted a project to have their hands on, so they started the Real Housewives of New Jersey. There's Real Madrid. They are the ama de casas, which is Spanish for housewife.
Right.
So they are the Real Housewives of Madrid.
Yes.
We've got the Deli Meats. I'll let you talk more about them. I really want to talk about one of my favorite teams, which is P.T. Barnum's Traveling Circus.
Yeah, tell me about them, because that's one of the more interesting stories you'll find.
They might be the most fascinating story in all of the FUFL. They were originally just a halftime show. Like P.T. Barnum, I mean, some of this is like La La Land, whatever. If you don't know about P.T. Barnum, you better read up. If you've seen The Greatest Showman, Hugh Jackman is who plays P.T. Barnum, and he does a hell of a job. P.T. Barnum was like a pioneer in marketing. His show was like one of the greatest attractions in the world at the time, and obviously Johnny Aredo Sr. was like, I need this at my halftime show. So there was a halftime show. It was a game between the 99ers and the Custard Cups, and the Custard Cups got locked in the locker room at halftime.
No.
So they couldn't get them out for the life of them. They were stuck in there for 2 days. They ended up being stuck in there for 2 days. But after 30, 45 minutes, Johnny Ritos goes up to P.T. Barnum and is like, hey, you think you can get a crew of your guys out there to play?
Classic.
And P.T. Barnum's like, sure, whatever, do whatever for the brand. He sees it as an opportunity to get his posse up and moving.
I'm sure the press was all over that. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I mean, it was front page news for a week.
Two very sharp minds. Sharp minds.
Yeah. So they come in, they play the second half, they come back and win the game.
Unreal. Really?
And yes, it was immaculate. It was nearly perfect football.
Barnum was a football guy. Pretty big football guy. Yeah.
Yeah. So Barnum knew a little bit about the game. Like he knew enough to where he could use the size and the prowess of his people to be competitive right out the gate against a very good 99ers team.
For sure.
So Johnny Ritos,
yeah,
as the founder of the FUFL, realizes this is an opportunity he can't let slip away, and asks P.T. Barnum and his crew to join the FUFL.
Full time, right?
Yeah. P.T. Barnum happily obliges. So they become a team and then are also the halftime show. They're remarkably conditioned.
That's crazy.
I mean, they're going for what is essentially nonstop for games are 3, 4, sometimes 5 hours. You never know.
For sure.
But they have a very fascinating crew of players who have played for their team. They're also like they don't have a city, like it's a traveling circus. So
Traveling circus, right?
yeah, they play wherever their heart desires. Like they've played damn near anywhere. Their stadium is obviously a giant circus tent. So
A lot
they
of
just
times in other stadiums as well, right? But the circus
yes,
tent
but
is
when they're
the tent.
playing on a sight unseen, like wherever they want to play, they
Right.
just pitch up a circus tent and they play there.
Yep.
Yeah, they've got the bearded lady who was the quarterback and the first female player in the FUFL. They have the tallest man in the world who they put at wide receiver.
Really?
That was Michael Carmichael, who of
Wow.
course is the father of Harold Carmichael.
Oh, he played in the league.
Yes, yeah, he played in the NFL. Michael Carmichael suffered a very similar fate to your boy Robert Ladlow. He unfortunate. So he had a season. He finished with 32 receptions, 32 touchdowns, and 31 yards. He could hardly move, but he was huge. So whenever they were on the 1 yard line, they just told him to take a step and tossed it up to him. But then he died of a heart attack after that year. It's just hard to pump all that blood to all that body.
Yeah.
They've got the world's smallest man, who they'd put at running back, and in goal line situations, they just hand him the ball and throw him over the line. Right. It was like unstoppable. After a certain point, they just had to. The league stepped in and stopped it. They had an entire O line full of strong men. At one point, an elephant took a snap.
Really?
Yes, the elephant's jersey is in the Hall of Fame.
That's so sick.
Yeah, it's like when people go there, like that's all they end up talking about. It's awesome. It's signed too. There's obviously the guy. They had a very talented ventriloquist who played D line, and he could sort of throw his voice and mimic the snap count of the offense. So he was he was just a nightmare for offenses to game plan. A lot of them ended up going for the silent count, which sort of like became popularized around the league.
They also have the guy that can clap behind his back too, right?
Are you talking about the real double jointed guy?
Yeah, and he kind of does the silent kind of thing. He kind of took over that role.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
because I mean, their best penalty differential seasons of all time. They put up some ridiculous numbers, just bending the rules.
Yeah, the double joint. I mean, the double jointed guy is one of my favorite people in the entire league.
That guy, refresh my memory. He played for Barnum.
Yeah, he played for BT Barnum. So he was just your typical, like, you go to the circus, you see someone bend it in all sorts of weird ways. He actually would get thrown out there in late game situations, and he would fake injuries to earn free timeouts.
Oh.
And there was a time he got carted off on back-to-back-to-back plays.
3 plays in a row.
3 plays in a row got carted off.
That's ridiculous.
They obviously
how did they allow that? I guess they just pop it back into place, and the doctor thinks he's a freaking wizard.
Yeah.
Wow.
There was obviously the juggler. He coined the term circus catch.
Right.
Yeah, they're a fascinating team. I mean, we learn more and more about them every day. There's also an interesting story about when they got locked in the locker room. So when the Custer Cups got locked in there, they were in there for 2 days. And after the first hour, one of their assistant coaches died. It was.
I mean, this kind of makes sense. Talking about
it was their 14-year-old special teams coach, Sal Vaughn.
Impressive. That sucks.
He was an absolute pioneer of the game.
He died after an hour in a closed locker room?
He died after an hour. So they were stuck in there for 2 days with Salmon.
He died right away.
He died after an hour of being in there.
How did he die?
They were smoking cigarettes in the locker room, as you do, in the 20s. But
shit.
Yeah, he found out he was asthmatic too late in life.
Oh,
and unfortunately passed away. So then, like in future games, like opposing teams, the Custer Cups would chant like "You smoked salmon," and
that
obviously like
that's so cruel.
they had to add some like sportsmanship guidelines.
Reminds me of that guy with the White Sox. Fucking
that guy.
Jesus. Yeah.
But yeah, so he was their 14-year-old special teams coach. Basically revolutionized the game. He ran a surprise onside kick on every kick, and it had like an 83% recovery rate.
Whoa.
They never saw it coming. They never saw it coming.
Makes sense.
Was,
why would you onside kick?
It was very impressive. But yeah, so that's Salmon, PT Barnum, and the traveling circus.
They had the year that Lunowitz won the 1% of the Coach of the Year award, I believe that, I mean, and this has happened to the Custard Cups too many times, but their coach also died that year because, he wasn't present for the awards, but that wasn't Salmon because he wasn't the head coach.
No. Salmon, that was a few years after. I don't even know if Salmon was born yet. I mean, it was only 14 years prior.
Yeah, I got you. That's true. That's true.
I think I want to go into the people and talk about some of the people we got, because I think those are our most interesting stories. We have a ton of teams to get through. A
lot of teams.
Talk
about some famous folks.
Yeah, we haven't even explained that this is a 64-team league. The tournament is essentially a March Madness bracket style tournament. Everyone makes it. There has been a couple Cinderella runs in the FUFL's time. Yeah, there's a lot of teams. We'll dive more into them as we continue to sort of give them their details and their stories, but we've got some people I think that are our best work so far. We've got Robert Griffin the first.
Ooh, right. Relation to who I'm thinking of?
Yes, the grandfather of Robert Griffin III. He was the first African American player in the FUFL. He won Rookie of the Year in back-to-back years in 1926 and 1927. He was incredible.
Right. We were talking about that a little bit, yeah.
So he was the first African American player, but he was also the last for quite some time, at least in the Great American Football League, because the Kankakee Pilots were still in the league at this time. He led the Roanoke Red Herrings to their 10th title game in 10 years. Whoa. In the championship game, he threw for a single game record, 5 touchdowns. On the final possession of the game, they were trailing though, and it always took like 10 dudes to take him down, damn near the entire team, and it took him a lot of time. So you think the rest would call forward progress, but on this play they didn't. So he was being held up at the 1, almost like a tush push scenario, and he fumbled after being held up for what is reportedly 22 seconds. We don't have footage of the game, but
that's damn.
Yeah, 22 seconds. It literally, like, the game clock expired. So
this was like around like late 19 teens.
This is 19, I believe. It'd have to be. Yeah, I believe 1928. Yeah. This was his third year in the league. Okay. So yeah, he fumbled at the 1 yard line, and people, obviously it was the 20s, so they went after him for reasons outside of football.
That's bullshit.
So he was the last African American player to play in the league, while the Pilots were also in there until like the 60s. That play is known as the end of forward progress. RG1, he left football and joined the military to fight his grief from losing. He was KIA in the Battle of Iwo Jima, and his body was never brought home. But
what a hero, though.
Yeah, he's got a statue. He's
good for him.
We haven't seen anyone win Rookie of the Year in back-to-back years since RG1. He was just a remarkable talent. What could have been?
Yeah. What could have been for sure. I mean, gets drafted to the right place, a place that's hard to compete, and amongst a team of legends. I mean, we're talking legends, right? Head and shoulders above him. No question, he was getting the ball, right?
You basically just had 10 dudes just out there to block. And at times, like even when like his rookie year, when they hadn't really like built the team around him, he was just doing everything he could. Obviously, still brought them to the championship game. But Yeah, an absolute marvel.
Good for bro.
And a tragedy at the same time.
Good for bro. Good for bro.
You got some players you want? I've seen only the names. I have not,
I
I
can tell
haven't
you about
read
Edward
anything.
St. James. He's more of a recent guy. He's a story that I kind of found recently.
Oh, please do. Edward St. James.
Yeah, so Edward St. James, he's a guy, I mean, good amount of lore on him. I guess the reason that it took me a while to kind of find him was his career wasn't super long. So, in terms of like the greats, which he definitely is one of them, most people would say he's just a little bit further down the list. But anyway, yeah, dude was, I think, 5'7.5", played in like, 70s all pro level for a couple of years. So yeah, his name was Edward St. James, but because of his stature, they kind of like called him Little St. James. That was kind of like what he was known as, right? Um, Still holds a couple FUFL records. He's set even more that have been broken since while he was playing. Here's a cornerback. Most people that like most lists, I guess I see that I come across have his cornerback season in 1978 rated as the best cornerback season ever. And some kind of say that it's one of the better defensive seasons ever. I wouldn't say that, but in terms of cornerback seasons, it's up there with the greats, the best, and it probably is the best. He allowed 11 total completions over the course of the season. Only was thrown at 35 times. He had 4 picks. He took a pick back for a game-winning touchdown in overtime. But yeah, he gave up like literally less than 150 yards over the course of an entire season playing against the other team's best talent, right? I mean, stopping number ones, stopping run game, whatever it was, he could do it at 5'7.5". Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, they weren't necessarily like the greatest team of all time. He kind of, was a star amongst a bunch of scrubs in a way. But the defensive coordinator was kind of like, he was a smart guy, I guess. I don't know his name exactly, but they ran like a very, very like St. James focused defense. They gave him half the field to cover, like more than half the field to cover. And like, he's having this great season. Nobody can complete a pass around him. They start referring to like his side of the field as Little St. James Island. Like, that's kind of like what the fans start calling him. Like, that's kind of like, talk shows, people that are kind of doing what we do. That's like,
he was like the talk of the world.
Yeah, like when you're talking, who is the best cornerback of all time? People think, all right, there's a couple dudes coming up, but they think Little St. James Island.
Yeah,
that
and
era,
if you were a receiver, if you were anyone notable, like at all, you couldn't go to Little St. James Island without everyone knowing. Without everyone knowing.
No, I mean, there would be like, you're watching Red Zone with the boys. I think it's called Purple Zone. I forget what, but they would have times where they're showing incomplete passes just because otherwise he would pretty much never be on the screen other than his interceptions, and you want to show your best players in the league. So they would show him just shutting down 6'4", 6'5" stud wide receivers. Incredible form, incredible kind of just like moxie, I guess. And then, yeah, like it was a spectacle. It was something, it was must see TV.
Wow. That's who did he play for?
So played for a bunch of teams actually. He's most kind of like associated with the Pilots because they're like buddies kind of outside of the sport in a sense. Him and the current owner. But he's played for a good amount of teams. His best season, the one that everyone kind of remembers, I believe, was with the Red Herrings, but I'm gonna have to double check that later. Yeah, I think it was with the Red Herrings though. And that was like in the 70s. 78 was the year. But he also was kind of like, I mean, if you're 5'7.5" and you're a stud like this, like you obviously are an incredible athlete. He found this out, was an Olympian, which is pretty cool. So when he was younger, he started playing in the league in like 71. He played from 71 to 81. In the last 2 years, he only played a couple games, it looks like. Short career, but obviously very good. But I guess in '64, so 7 or so years before he got in the league, he played in table tennis at the Olympics. So that's pretty cool. Well, ping pong, whatever, at the Olympics. And did not medal. So in '64 he didn't medal, which, if you know anything about him, is crazy, because when people think about him, they think that guy medaled with everything. Like,
Yeah.
But anyway, in the following Olympics, he medaled in 3 different sports, which was, he got bronze in archery, he got bronze in badminton, and then he got silver with Team USA volleyball as a backup libero. And yeah, he was just an all-around stud, could do it all. Very interesting guy. One of the guys that I had a good time looking into. So yeah, it was cool.
He meddled with everything.
Meddled with almost everything, yeah.
More
than you'd think.
Yeah, absolutely everything. Oh, man, that's good. You have far more people than I do. I'll share. I think it was I have 2 people. I got Percival Enos Brigham, who obviously is the founder of Brigham's Official Football Association. He also is the Otsego County Opossum team owner. So his name's Percival, went by P for short. So P. Enos Brigham was a former youth baseball coach for 29 years. Said to be the reason that Babe Ruth started playing baseball, because P. Enos Brigham actually created like participation friendly rules that made it so every member of a team's batting order was a part of the batting rotation.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. It's like everything that is good about baseball was sort of
might seem obvious to some, but for the time, I'm sure that was not very common.
Exactly. Yeah. The rule was widely adopted, raised baseball participation rates by
because today,
raised baseball participation rates by 2,000%. Brigham then stepped away from coaching youth baseball to become a teacher. But he soon realized that his passion for coaching, still burned inside him.
That makes sense for sure.
So he recruited his students and those from schools around him and used all of his money to start the Otsego County Football Club, which later was renamed the Otsego County Opossums, which was named after the possum he was friends with as a child.
Nice.
His contributions to baseball led to the construction of the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, which of course is in the same Otsego County where Brigham was raised. He'd go on to win 7 championships in his career. 6 of them were in youth baseball. All 6 were as a player, and he won one of them in football. He was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1958 at the age of 94, but his enshrinement was later revoked due to a child molestation scandal. He died of a lifelong battle with cancer on his birthday at the age of 110.
Man, that sucks.
Very sad. After 110 years, it got him. But he was a very hands-on coach.
For sure. Obviously, yeah.
Yeah. But interesting guy. He founded Brigham's Official Football Association. His contributions to the FUFL are, second to none. There would be no F in FUFL.
It's true.
Without him. So, yeah, that's Percival.
Percival, man.
Percival.
Or P. Enos, right? That's kind of what he went by.
Yeah, he was of Turkish and English descent.
Nice. It's cool. I like learning about the boys.
I'm very excited about one of your players who genuinely I almost woke up my dad because I was laughing too late. It's maybe my favorite name I've ever heard in my entire life.
Which one is this one?
That would be
what year did you start playing? 1927?
No, it's TBD.
Oh, okay. They don't. Oh, but Domingo. You're talking about Domingo?
Yeah.
Domingo Posh Plus. Yeah, that's interesting story with him. So we'll learn a little bit more about some other guys in the league. You'll learn about my guy Guamar at some point, but Domingo Posh Plus was the son of probably second or third most famous drug dealer of all time, and that was Miguel Posh Plus. Domingo, kind of growing up in with the spoils of his father's wealth, is able to pursue soccer, able to pursue FUFL, able to pursue kind of more athletic things that he is inclined to enjoy. Ends up being a very good kicker, very respected kicker. Went to college locally, ended up being a very good talent for an overseas team. Eventually played like a couple years professionally with a team that feeds in the Manchester Divided. They're known as the Salford Bull Ox. But yeah, he played for them for a couple years and then ended up getting drafted into the FUFL. But the kind of like interesting thing about him, I guess, is like, so he was drafted in the 7th round by the Hyphenates, and
naturally, yeah,
kickers you don't usually see get drafted because there's an abundance of them. It's one of the positions that is more competitive in the league. There's a lot of very, very, very good kickers in the FUFL. After people kind of realize that you got to go with really good soccer players, and it's pretty easy. But anyway, drafting a kicker, a little bit interesting. The Hyphenates didn't really have a figured out kicker situation. It was a position of need for sure, but it was a shocking move, I guess, to say the least. They said that he was kind of, I guess, the word they used was initiated, which seems maybe mistranslated. I don't know. But basically, he played against professional talent overseas. He's used to the pressure. This is why we like this guy, whatever. He ended up getting jersey number 33 for the Hyphenates, which is like, it's like a legacy number. They pass it down. It's kind of,
it's like 88 for the Cowboys.
Right. It's next to a captain role. It's like 88 for the Cowboys, except anyone can get it, which is, a lot of people on the Cowboys. Or I guess it's only wide receivers on the Cowboys, but yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like maybe someone else on the Cowboys can get it. But yeah, we're number 33 in his final 2 seasons before being kicked off the team. And it's kind of fuzzy, but basically there was a big controversy around his last name. So his first name is Domingo, obviously. His last name, Posh Plus, hyphenated Posh and Plus, which is just a traditional Colombian name. I mean, obviously, for most people, right? But basically, the Hyphenates had made an assumption that Posh Plus was the conjoining of a man and a wife's name. Because one thing about the Hyphenates that's like interesting is, their team kind of culture percolates into their personal life more than any other club. Every one of their players hyphenates their name. It's kind of like, bleaching your hair for hockey or for wrestling.
Yeah.
Like just kind of a thing that's like, are you really bought into this team? That's what it's always been. That's what I've always understood it as, I guess. But they thought like, hey, this guy's got it. Like he's already, kind of initiated, like they said. And that's why they kind of reached on him in the 7th round. Later, they found out it was just his last name, and that was kind of ugly. So, yeah, he's, they don't talk about him.
Yeah. I believe his son is Maximus, and I think they just dropped the plus. And then his grandson is also Maximus.
Right.
So his son is Posh Max,
right,
and then his grandson is Posh Max 2.0.
Right. Yeah, no, that's correct. I believe
Maximus Posh the second.
Maximus Posh the second. Most people call him what you were saying though, right?
Yeah,
Max Posh, like that's kind of his nickname, kind of thing.
Well, they for some reason they've always done. It's sort of like the Brazilian players who put the first name on the back of their jersey.
Yeah,
so
instead
of, I think like following the controversy of like his dad and his name, just put Max, so he went by Posh Max, and then his grandson by Posh Max 2.0.
Gotcha. Yeah, and he's a cool guy. I mean, his career was obviously like kind of interesting. He was an above average kicker, one of the better kickers, but he was very loved by their fan base for a while. Not loved anymore. But his dad was an interesting guy too. His dad, I mentioned him briefly, Miguel, right? So he was like second or third most profitable or famous drug dealer, but he was a huge rival with Pablo Escobar, which is, goes without saying. But
yes,
so there's that.
yes. I don't have. There's Rotten Raymond Naughton, who's he's got. I mean, he's just he's the owner of the. Yeah, he's the owner of the Tyler Naughtons. He's the most like despised owner in the league.
Screw that guy.
It comes from a long line of frackers and inherited an oil empire, close ties to the Saudis, like endless supply of money, but like puts none of it into the team.
Or
sort of just like just I don't know. He's a very. There's been talks about.
He's kind of the anti-artichoke.
Yes, exactly. And there's been talks about removal from the league, but the vote needs to be unanimous, and that
not going to
obviously
happen.
he's not going to vote against his favor. But that's Rotten Raymond Naughton. You've got plenty of other people. I'm happy to save them for future episodes. I mean, there's Brad. Brad.
I believe his nickname is Brad. They call him Brad.
Yeah. Do you want to save them, or we can? We got a little bit of time. We can talk about
them. Yeah, we could maybe save players if we wanted to talk a little bit about I could talk about players. I guess we could talk about draft structure and like other stuff another time. We'll talk more like rules and shit at a different time. Yeah. I'll tell you about Brad. Brad was a coach. What were you saying?
Well, I do have a player that we can talk about, but also, I mean, it could always be saved.
I'll give you the rundown on Brad.
I just looked at stadiums and landmarks.
What did I put
there? Can you just tell me about the stadium? This
Estadio de Walmart.
See, please. Oh, tell me about Estadio de Walmart.
Estadio de Walmart is it's famous stadium. We'll learn about Guamar Perez a different day, but he's a legend. Made like in terms of effect and just kind of like aura and kind of influence on the league, he's up there. But he was a legendary player for many years. Retired, became a coach. Retired, became an owner. Started a team in Oaxaca, Mexico, the Albrajitas, which is like a very cool art style thing. So like you can look into that. But basically, the stadium originally was kind of called the Salsa Bowl. It didn't really have a name. They were looking for sponsors. He had worked with Walmart kind of like late in his career, did ad deals. He was very respected there. They were kind of probably working on something the whole time, but it was referred to as the Salsa Bowl for a couple of years. And then eventually Walmart bought the rights, built them a beautiful stadium out of like volcanic rock. And it kind of looks like one of those like, what you make like guac in? It's like, it's got that kind of to it.
Oh, nice.
So they do call it like El Mocajete. Like that's like what that's called. So like a lot of people refer to it as that. A lot of people also call it La Casa que Construyó Guamar, which is the house that Guamar built. That's a good stadium. It's cool. It's very sick. I love Guamar.
I genuinely can't wait another week to read these. So I'd rather you just tell me about the players now. So
I can rattle. I could rattle.
Yeah. This is so good. Oh my God.
I'll do Brad real quick.
Oh my God.
Basically, you're talking about the Custard Cups. Their coaches often face pretty tragic fates. But he was the coach of the Custard Cups in the year that Lunowitz won third place for the MVP, right? That kind of created that kerfuffle. And Brad, his family owned a bowling alley that was referred to as Panera, I guess. And he was hosting like a postseason kind of party, I think, for the players. And he was charging them for bowling shoes, which is just like, bro, what? Like, his pockets weren't really hurting. It's just kind of like, I don't know. I think he felt like it's It's my parents' place. I don't want to disrespect the name, but like, come on, dude. So the players kind of felt slighted, but they generally liked Brad. He was, a gruff guy, good coach. But they're like, we're going to play a little prank on Brad, right? They're going to play a little prank on Brad. So one thing about Brad, when he's taking a piss, his shoes are coming off. That's just his thing. He's a big grounder. He always takes a piss in grass with his shoes off. So they're drinking. Brad's going to piss. He's going to break the seal eventually. And when he does, the boys get together. They get a little clamoring, and they put a little butter on the bottom of his bowling shoes, right? Which is just cheeky, diabolical, whatever. So he comes back, puts the shoes on. He's going to bowl. Obviously, he slips. Slides like, you're talking about an oiled lane and a very large human. Slides like good way down the lane, not close to all the way, but good way down the lane, probably 60, 70% down the lane. At like the same time, the players are trying to play it cool, right? Like they're like not trying to stare at him and give it away that something's up. There was a guy, wide receiver for the Custard Cups, that was bowling next to him. His name, let me see if I have it. Yeah, his name was Sean Reese, I guess, but he bowled like a gutter ball, wiggles out of the gutter, heads right at Brad Temple, turns Brad into a vegetable, and then he died a couple of days later. But, you're talking about Salman earlier and how the fans kind of abused that. The fans said, you buttered bread. I mean, that's just like not cool. Like the Cups just kind of have this like hellish history with their people in power, and there's like a spooky lore in their stadium and stuff, and I don't know.
Yeah,
but yeah.
What do they call? Do they call that? They call that play the Panera Bread Bowl?
Could be.
That's
could be that incident. Bowl. Oh yeah, with the Panera Bread Bowl. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. What about Guamar Perez?
Guamar. All right. So yeah, Guamar's the man. Guamar. We're talking a guy who was playing in he started in 1927. He finished his career in 1944, right? What does that tell you? He's playing in a time that there was not too many Guamars around. Am I right? If we know anything about this league, you might be wondering to yourself, wait, I thought Michael said earlier that the league was, more or less segregated for the years that I'm talking about. You'd be right. So his nickname, Michael James, right, comes from the fact that was what he went by for the majority, almost all of his career until the near end of it, right? Because he was kind of undercover white. He was white passing. Right?
Yeah.
And, he kept his mouth shut for the most part and was able to blend in. He played kicker. He was very good. Top kicker in the league, easily. Still probably one of the most valuable kickers of all time, especially considering how much better he was than the competition. But basically, from 1927 till like 1943, nobody in the league suspected he was Mexican. He, just kind of kept quiet, kept to himself, did his thing, made his money, and, provided for his family, did whatever, right? But basically, 1943, his team celebrating the championship. They won. He had a good game. They're out on the town, and Guamar doesn't usually like let loose. I guess he's kind of reserved guy, very like to himself. He's feeling it. Like his team just won the championship. They're partying with Michael James, who they don't know is Guamar, and they're drinking tequila, vodka, whatever. Basically, as he gets drunker, and as a guy who doesn't get drunk a lot, he gets a little bit. The act starts slipping. He starts talking more. He starts, letting out a little bit more Mexican mannerisms and just whatever. And at first, the players are like, "This is the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life."
What are Mexican mannerisms?
Like he's maybe like whistling a little bit more than average. He kind of like like I don't know. That's
manly. No, that's honestly whistling more than average. That's that's pretty accurate.
But yeah, he like the team is like at first like who knew that James had a good fucking Latino impression. This is funny as hell. Like this is really good. Like who knew he had this in his bag? Night gets later, he gets drunker, he starts speaking nearly exclusively in Spanish, right? They're like, what? There's like, how does James know Spanish, right? They're kind of like, what is going on right now? It's like trippy. They're also fucked up. Anyway, eventually it's like the act is up. They're like, dude, you're Mexican. Like, what? He's like, see whatever he says, right? But they're kind of taken aback. How could we be so dumb? This shouldn't be allowed. But at the same time, like, they loved Michael James, they loved Gualmar, like he was one of the boys. Like they were like, shit, like why are we going to kick this guy out? So it kind of like starts a conversation about if Mexicans should be allowed to play in the league, which most people kind of agreed with. There was a group of kickers that said that they're bad for the league, they're taking our jobs, and like they were very against it. Their name I can't even say, it's horrible, but they were a group of kickers, we'll say that. Anyway, league passes the vote. Mexicans are allowed to play. The kickers were lobbying their ass off, so they had to make them happy in some way. They said, well, okay, we're going to pay them less than league minimum, right? So the Mexicans are allowed to play in the league thanks to Gualmar, but their wages are like way lower than everyone else. So most kickers at that time, or most Mexican players who pretty much exclusively kickers in the early stages of their adoption, had multiple jobs. Like, you're working for 2 or 3 teams kicking. So sometimes they'd be playing in games where they're the kicker on both teams, which, I mean, you find yourself in some wild situations.
Yeah.
But, there's only like 10, 15 really good kickers in the league. There's however many teams, 30 teams, 64 teams. Like, if you're willing to do it, like, a lot of them did have multiple jobs and kick for multiple franchises. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, that's nice. I like.
His name is Michael James too, which, like, funny story there. Like, I can't whistle, so I'm gonna kind of screw up this line. But basically, when he was getting like kind of interviewed by the scout that was like watching him kick, right? The guy comes up to him and is like,
I can whistle for you if you need me to.
Yeah, I'll cue you on the whistle. The scout comes up to him and is like, hey, dude, like, what's up, brother? Like, have you ever thought about playing in the FUFL? Like, and he's kind of like, yeah, like nodding, whatever. Like, I want to play, like, it's my dream, whatever. He's taking some information down. He already had some notes because he was watching him kick, right? Asks him, hey, like, so what's your name? How can I like contact you? He's like, my name, bro. And then he whistles. It's more of like a anxious kind of, yeah, there you go. Exactly. my name, bro, same as yours, bro. And then so Michael James, who was the guy that was taking his name, is like, oh, your name is Michael James? He's like, yeah, bro, same as yours, bro. So that's how he got his name.
Oh, that's a wonderful story. We might have to be careful imitating Gualmar Perez, but
yeah, you can't be too accurate.
Yeah,
but he's a good dude.
Yeah, it's a good dude. I actually have a story about a kicker, so this is interesting. I have this more under the plays section, but there's kicker lore tied in. So one of the plays that lateraling is like super common in the FUFL. Basically, the FUFL like is decades ahead of where the NFL is now. Like they were running play action stuff out of the gun, RPOs. They were doing that shit in the 80s. Like, it is far more advanced in present day. They actually had a play way back in the day, sort of like the birth of like modern football. Happened way back, and what they would do is on like short yardage situations, especially in like plus territory or on extra points, they'd run the RPDKO, which is the run pass drop kick option. Basically on extra points or on fourth downs, you have obviously your typical like the run pass part of an RPO, but then you also have the drop kick option, which can be good for an extra point or a field goal if neither of the options are there. The longest drop kick in FUFL history is 79 yards.
That's insane.
It is nuts. It was a game-winning attempt.
Whoa.
In a game, yes, it was a game that was played in a tornado. Not in, but near a tornado.
Yeah.
The final score was 5-4, because the teams ran like a total of 3 plays out of the shotgun, and all 3 of those plays, the ball literally just it got snapped, went right over the quarterback's head and straight out of the back of the end zone. So it was 4-2 before this play, last play of the game. Elmer Fujita, who World War I veteran, amputee with a club foot, he put on a lead leg before the last snap.
Oh, that's so sick.
Yes. Drop kick the ball from his own 31-yard line. Attempt was good. They won the game 5-4. That game is actually where you get like the tornado like scale from, the EF scale. It's the Elmer Fujita scale.
Nice.
And
okay.
EF1, EF2, all the way to I think EF14 is yes. No, it's not based off damage. It's based off of how much further you can convert a field goal as opposed to normal conditions.
Right.
So that one was an EF11, I want to say. Yes. Yeah. Very, very serious.
That's putting 50 yards on the ball. Probably.
Yeah. I mean, nobody has even come close since then. Obviously, like safety regulations, they haven't really played many more games in a tornado since then. But yeah, that's where you get the EF scale from, Mr. Elmer Fujita.
Nice, good for him.
But I don't have we don't have too much else, honestly. I think we've covered a lot of the bases. And I don't think we have time to cover any more college basketball, to be honest. This went much longer than I thought. Like
college basketball, I like college basketball. Tournament, awesome. Tournament, really fun. I like it when there's buzzer beaters. I like it when there's upsets.
Go Michigan. Illinois. Yes. We'll have more stuff next week. We won't have as much, obviously. This has been honestly, it hasn't been like we might have equally as much. I think we'll probably just record on a basis of like how often do we have material to fill an episode with. But yeah, I think that's all we got. If you have any team names, players, drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching. Maximus Posh. I will give credit where credit's due. That was Emily. That was all Emily. Maximus Posh.
Nice. I like it.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes, it was. That it got a good chuckle out of me. Domingo Posh Plus. What an absolute legend.
Boy, it's a guy.
An absolute legend. All right, you got. Do you have a desk item? I mean, it's been a while. You might not. You might have to pull some. Pull some. Oh, you do. He came ready. Of course, he came ready. This is a professional. This is a professional show.
Yep.
Nice. What is on them? Oh, that's just the cord. American Idol. I thought it said that. I recognized that logo anywhere.
You've worn this before.
Impressive. I've worn those before.
Yep. I'm pretty sure. Or it was Noah.
Sick. All right.
Shout out y'all.
Yeah. Shout out to FUFL. Season starts again in July. It's a long season.
Yeah, it's a long season. They play every 2 weeks because there's 64 teams and there's a lot of travel.
Yeah.
There's 16 games a weekend, but every other weekend individual teams play.
Yes, it alternates, which is great for like the players' health, and the NFL should seriously consider.
I have one thing to leave on. It's a question for you.
Okay.
This is the very end of an episode, so I'm glad that I can say it now after a long time and hopefully not too many people listening. But anyway, any fat dudes in Japan, right? When the bomb dropped, do you think any of them were quick enough to pull down their shirt and like?
I can't, bro. I'm ending the episode. It's outrageous.
I thought of that though. Just one day, I was like, "You think any of them were pulling down their shirt? They heard a big like they got like rattled or something."
Honestly, I have some news. I have news that I could.
News?
Yeah, I've been sitting on some news, so Before we go, I'll send us off with some news because I've been holding on for those too long too that I don't feel like waiting.
Got to get them out of the system.
Another weekend, yeah. I've told you all the Mr. Beast ones. That's the last ones I've shared with you, which are great.
Yeah, that was really good. I like that one a lot.
Let's see. A Gary, Indiana resident is being celebrated this week for planting over 1,000 trees across northwestern Indiana, and donating $2,000 to the Northern Indiana Environmental Restoration Society. I see how it is. So this guy puts $2,000 into the NIERS and is called a hero. But if I put two G's into it, I'm asked to leave my sister's wedding because I'm offending the groom side of the family.
Oh my God. Wow, there was like 3 different parts of that. That's a very I like that. I like that a lot.
A California math teacher was accused of using sexist and fat-shaming questions for the students' quizzes. One of the questions reportedly asked, if a date with a 120-pound girl costs you $55, what would a date with a 220-pound girl cost? I don't know. Your dignity?
Yeah. Shouts to the big girls that listen to the podcast. We love you. Yeah. No one's safe though. No one's safe though. We'll make fun of everyone.
Have I shared with you the Black Shakespeare joke?
No, but that's like a thing. You know, people think that.
Yes. Yeah. So the author of a new book about William Shakespeare is claiming that the works of the famed playwright were actually written by a Black Jewish woman. This claim has obviously sparked debate amongst the literary community, but it makes a lot of sense when you just consider what a play really is. Oh, the person who pioneered talking in theaters was Black. What a surprise.
That's fucking good. If we're using our thinking caps, that is as straightforward as it gets. You've convinced me 100%. You've convinced me.
That is one of my favorite jokes I've ever written. Really it good. Is near perfect. It is near perfect. What else do I have? I've got one other one. I've got some stuff in the works that I haven't really gone back to since we started the FUFL. A trio of deer were seen floating down the Detroit River on a sheet of ice last month. 3 deer on ice? That's how I would describe seeing Minions on ice after having just watched Minions in 3D. 3 deer on ice? Yep. A new study found that the commonly prescribed laxative Miralax contains polyethylene glycol, an addictive chemical linked to tremors, tics, and obsessive compulsions and aggressive behavior in children. I was even addicted to it for a little while. It tore my life apart. Then I stopped taking it and I got my shit together. Nice.
We like that. We like that. That's well written.
This is a true art. Some of these articles are completely just made up. It's like it's not real, and I just make them up for the punchline. This one is true, and it was so good that I just had so much stuff for it. I even wrote maybe like a limerick or a poem. But there was a 45-year-old man whose name is Gay.
Nice.
I swear, Gay. That is his name. He's from
AY.
Gay. 45-year-old man named Gay from St. Paul, Minnesota, was arrested in December after police responded to reports of suspicious activity. Authorities alleged that he and a 56-year-old accomplice, Pa PA space DAH, Pa were attempting to steal copper wire, which is commonly targeted for its high scrap value. When officers arrived there, Gay fled on foot, was later apprehended, and so forth. He'll probably go free. Gays are hardly persecuted in Minnesota.
True.
Gay fled from Pa. If my parents named me Gay, I probably wouldn't be hanging out with my Pa anymore either. If Gay was arrested in the 1950s when it was illegal to be gay, would it be protected by double jeopardy laws? St. Paul, more like St. Ball. And then we've got a poem.
Touche.
Gege and Pada got popped by coppers for stealing copper to buy 4 poppers.
Whoa.
Gege said
I wish
Pada.
dude, not having a soundboard is so tragic. That
know,
that would have
I
been
know.
triple explosion.
Gege said Tada and left Pada with nada. Ran to his father, left for Granada, and lived on the beach drinking pina coladas.
Oh my god.
Pada cried Mayday, but nowhere was Gege. He left him for Spain to live out his days. Pada was mad and Gege felt bad, so he sold all his copper for cents on the dollar to give his ex-partner Pada a holler.
Holy fuck, dude.
I'm sorry, said Gege. I've missed you a lotta. How can I apologize for my exit strata? Gee, I don't know, Pada would groan. Maybe come home to Minnesota today, Gege asked. I can't get there that fast. My travel is slow and the distance is vast. An idea struck Pada. Talk to my daughter. Her name is Jada and she has a stutter. I'll hand her the phone. She'll help you get home by train, ferry, trolley, or drone. Hey, gay, gay, gay. I'll get you AAA. Ticket home by the end of the day.
Nice.
Nothing could stop us. She booked him a chopper, but when Gege got home, he was met by the coppers. You see, Pada's a plotter. How the Titas have tottered. He went from stealing copper to being a crime stopper. So Gege went away, and gone way his heyday. And gone are his heydays. Gone is his heyday. You know what they say, crime doesn't pay. Oh, it's Funkmaster Flex. Yes, that is that's the story of Gege and Pada.
Real story.
Yes. Well, the actual story about them getting arrested in Minnesota is real.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it was just too good of an article not to write a story that rhymes.
48-line poem on that was really good. Like,
thank you. I spent a lot of time on that. My favorite part, honestly, is like
I like when he's a plotter. I like that one.
Yes, but there's also like the how can I apologize for my exit strata? Gee, I don't know. The lines start to Minnesota today. I don't know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then he hands his phone to his daughter with the stutter. Hey, gay. I'll get you AAA. Ticket home by the end of the day.
Yep.
As soon as I realized like stutter rhymes with Pada, it was
like,
I already had a repeating name. It was.
I mean, yeah,
it was over. Yeah, but I've been sitting on that one for a while. I'm very proud of it. All right. Thanks for listening. We'll be back soon.
Sooner than later.
All right. Peace.